The UFC is a fighting organization based out of the United States. I have been a fan of the UFC since the mid-90s. My brother-in-law introduced me to the organization through VHS tapes. He would rent them, and we would sit in his house and watch them. Now, the first fights, what made them appealing was there were no weight classes and very few rules. This was basically, you could get a 150-pound man fighting a 350-pound man, which is whoever had the best skills and abilities would win. And the fights were set up in tournament style, single elimination. Now, as it went on, the United States government tried to shut down the UFC and then owners the SEG because of the lack of rules. And majority of the states agreed with them and banned the UFC from doing shows in their states. Due to this, the SEG eventually sold the company to what is now known as Zuffa LLC. This is the Fioretti brothers and Dana White. Now, the Fioretti brothers had already worked with the Nevada State Athletic Commission. So they went about putting the current rules in place for the UFC and allowing the UFC to branch out to all over the United States and eventually the world. Now, these rules, as they take place, you cannot hit anyone directly behind the ears or the jaws. You cannot hit anyone in the back. If a person is kneeling or got one hand on the ground, you cannot kick them in the head or the body. You cannot stomp on someone while they're on the ground. The only kicks allowed on the ground are to the leg. A concussion is the body's attempt to shut down non-vital functions: standing, thinking, bowel and bladder control, and redirects resources to the brain, heart, lungs after a minor closed head injury, most commonly caused by a blow. By definition, a knockout is a concussion, but a concussion doesn't require a loss of consciousness. That's the reason fighters get clipped and go down or get dazed briefly and then come back fighting. They probably suffered a concussion. They did not fall because they got knocked off balance, but rather the blow caused their forebrain to take a break and briefly shut down control of their muscles and equilibrium.
If we examine all the fight endings in the UFC on Fox and Fox Sports 1 in the year of 2015 and use a definition of a concussion as any head injury that disrupts the neurological flow to the brain, then it will show that 33% of the fights ended in knockouts, 47% ended in decision. That means that 80% of all UFC fights on Fox Sports 1 and Fox in the year 2015 guaranteed to have at least one or both fighters having concussion symptoms or concussions during those fights. Another 19% of the fights ended by submission. Now, it is not said which type of submissions were used, but there is a chance that one or both of those fighters also suffered concussions. That leaves 1% that was stopped by either disqualification, kicks to the groin, or stomps to a downed opponent. But still, 99% of fights, you are guaranteed, or if not one, if not both of the fighters have a significant chance of concussion, is a very real danger.
By examining 26 different medical suspensions from fights in the UFC during 2015, I was able to find that 46% of the injuries were lacerations to the face, 22% of the injuries required neurological testing, nose injuries accounted for 15% of the injuries, Eye or orbital injuries accounted for 12% of the injuries, and 5% involved the structure around the mouth. Now, some of these cards did not provide the reason for the suspensions. These numbers are not perfectly accurate, but they are the best that I could be done with the information I was given.
Now Carmouche has got it pulled away. She can't put her feet up against the cage now. Much better control for Carmouche. Andrade rolls over to the turtle. Carmouche is on top of her, and Andrade's back up, and she's got Carmouche down.
And a couple of shots afterwards. What a great try.
Right jab. Head kick. Cro Cop is out. Both fighters standing. Left jab of Holmes. Kick to the head. And she is out. Point of impact photo.
He was so enamored with the hands, and he had such great speed. And now look at that.
Oh, he's down.
And down goes Eastman. And Vitor with that great speed.
That's the old Vitor.
It is over.
That is the old Vitor. Beautiful. Right what I was saying, he developed some Muay Thai skills. He clinched. He threw a beautiful Muay Thai knee. That's what rocked Marvin Eastman.
And how about the hand speed of the phenom Vitor Belfort?
That's what everyone is scared of when they fight this guy. He's just got unbelievably explosive speed. When he punches, if he hits you once and rocks you, you know 30 more punches are coming in a span of a couple seconds.
A photo of the cut done to Marvin Eastman. Women's strawweight of 115 pounds. Champion is Johanna Jędrzejczyk. The women's bantamweight champion, which is 126 to 135 pounds, is Miesha Tate. In the men's side, the flyweight division, which was 116 to 125 pounds, the champion is Demetrius Johnson. In the men's bantamweight, 126 to 135 pounds, the champion is Dominic Cruz. In the featherweight division, 136 to 145 pounds, the current champion is Conor McGregor. In the lightweight, 146 to 155 pounds, the champion is Rafael Dos Anjos. In the welterweight, 156 to 170 pounds, the champion is Robbie Lawler. In the middleweight division, 171 to 185 pounds, the champion is Luke Rockhold. In the light heavyweight division, 185 to 205 pounds, the champion is Daniel Cormier. In the heavyweight division, 205 to 265 pounds, the champion is Fabricio Werdum.